What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's reaction video is what's really inside Fort Knox. Do you know much about Fort Knox?
I don't really know what it is or where it is. I know it's in America, but I don't where it is.
I'm guessing it is in America.
Yeah, that's kind of all I know, really.
Right, it's in America.
Yeah, and I feel like it's famous in history.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know too much about it, to be honest with you. I have in my head, and I may be wrong, so please let us know in the comments, or this video will clear it up. I feel like there is something to do with the revolution there, because when watching the oversimplified videos, I've got like a clip in my head which is mentioning Fort Knox, so I feel like it is something to do with the revolution as well, or at least it was around back then, and it was mentioned. Maybe where some important meetings happened or something like that. Yeah. I may be wrong on that. Other than that, I'm not 100% sure. No. So let's find out what it is. Hopefully this describes what it is a little bit, and let's find out what's inside of it. Super keen for this one. Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Let us know what else you want us to react to in the comments below. We'd seriously appreciate that, wouldn't we? Open to anything, and we just really enjoy doing these reaction videos. So let us know in the comments below. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's check out what's really inside Fort Knox. What we got.
According to the U.S. Mint, half of the United States Treasury's gold is stored at Fort Knox. But considering that it's the largest and most famous piggy bank in the United States, we know surprisingly little about what happens on the inside.
Tell you what, from that image as well, it's not exactly the biggest thing, is it? For half of the US's gold reserve.
And it didn't look like some massive thing either.
You can see it had fences and stuff like that, didn't it? So it looks quite heavily guarded, but
like the actual building didn't look.
It's not very big, is it? Yeah. For half of the United States reserve in gold, that is a lot of gold. Wow.
Today we're looking at the mysteries of Fort Knox. Located outside of Louisville, Kentucky, the U.S. Army base houses the majority of our nation's gold reserve and is so exclusive that even U.S. presidents aren't invited. The top-secret nature of the base has predictably led to an array of theories surrounding what's really hidden within its heavily guarded walls. So what do we know about this extremely protected stash of American fortune? Let's look at the fort's history and many mysterious facts. But before we do that, be sure you subscribe to the Weird History channel and leave a comment. Tell us how much you like our videos. Great. Let's blast that past. Originally named Camp Henry Knox after the first Secretary of War, the fort was constructed during the Civil War. It was largely used as a military outpost and artillery training facility right until World War I. It was
okay. That might be where I've heard it, in the Civil War. I did remember it being obviously in an oversimplified video, so that is probably where I've heard it before. Because again, you don't know too much about the Civil War, do you?
No, I haven't done a video on that yet.
No, it was a revolution you did by oversimplified, wasn't it? So maybe we'll check that out. So maybe that explains why you hadn't properly heard of it before.
I've just heard it maybe in history lessons or something.
Yeah. But I knew I had a clip of oversimplified saying it, so that's probably where it's come from there.
Only in 1932, right after the First War ended and the troop count greatly reduced, did the camp's name get permanently changed to Fort Knox. The construction of the U.S. Bullion Depository later began in 1935, and by 1937, the vault began receiving its first shipments of gold, care of the post office. But don't go picturing an army of exasperated
Imagine that nowadays, just in the post office. There you go, take some gold to Fort Knox.
Carriers, the future USPS used a special 9-car train manned by machine guns and protected by a U.S. cavalry brigade.
That makes sense.
Your Nana's birthday card. Well, maybe, depending on your Nana. World War II brought whole new worries for the United States, including the possibility that our nation's capital might be attacked by outside forces. As a result, the Bill of Rights, Declaration of Independence, and Constitution were all moved to Fort Knox 2 weeks after the attack on Pearl Harbor. Sealed in lead, they were kept in a protective container far away from any Axis bombings or a treasure-hunting Nicolas Cage. All of those items remained hidden until 1945, when America and its allies declared victory. With that, the threat was deemed squashed, and the documents moved back to Washington, D.C. But that's not the only time we've used the fort as a national lockbox. Only 1 year later, the Holy Crown of St. Stephen was given over to the U.S. by a Hungarian army colonel. Along with other jewels, the crown was kept for safekeeping in Fort Knox for the duration of the war. It was only later returned in 1978 by President Jimmy Carter.
Wow, there you go. So it is pretty much kind of like a lockbox. One of those things where they trust, if it's in there, ain't nobody getting it out.
No.
It can withstand a lot. It's got a lot of security. Maybe that's why it's so small.
Maybe, yeah.
So it's a lot harder to penetrate.
Yeah.
Do you know,
it seems
you know
like
what I mean?
It's got a lot of important stuff in there.
Yeah, it stores quite a lot of important stuff, and it seems really hard to penetrate, doesn't it? So that might explain why it is small, because if there's less angles of attack, I guess, you can see most of it.
Yeah.
And it's not like someone could sneak in from one end because it's so big or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like it's easy to guard.
Easy to guard, harder for something to go missing as well,
Yeah.
and probably easy to fortify as well, the small it is. I assume that is a reason.
Along with being used to protect our most important documents, Fort Knox was part of the U.S. effort campaign against the Nazis as an example of American strength. In his May 1941 article, How America Can Take the Offensive, Fortune writer Taylor Edmond proposed that we should use the gold to encourage Ford leaders to support the U.S. war effort. This example of might was later used during the Cold War as well, when the CIA used Operation Mockingbird to control information about their organization, as well as serve as the government-mandated hype man to Fort Knox. Not that we're exactly shocked, but it turns out that Fort Knox is a bit more than rent-a-cops and metal detectors
I'm
in
not
terms
surprised.
of security. Along with an electric fence, the 100,000-acre facility is surrounded by an actual minefield, keeping unwanted visitors out. And just to be extra safe, the whole perimeter is guarded by 4 machine gun towers manned by the U.S. Mint Police. The facility itself is no picnic either. It features video cameras, motion detectors, and secret microphones designed to single out any unusual presence. If a mouse sneezes, they know it. Don't even think about breaking in, Stuart Little. And if you manage to get past all of that, you still have to grapple with a 22-ton, 21-inch thick vault door designed to withstand guns, blowtorches, and explosive devices. You have absolutely no chance of sneaking inside. And let's be honest, you'll never have to worry about the 16,000 cubic feet of granite that encases the Fort Knox gold vault. You probably already took your licks at the machine gun minefield combo outside.
Yeah, I doubt you'd get about 4.
There's just no point in even trying, is there?
Exactly. And I suppose when you think of it, obviously it's got half of the US's national gold in there.
Yeah, it'd be stupid to not guard it.
It's got to be impossible, literally impossible to break in, hasn't it? And then you've got to go even further, have it impossible to break in, and then even more secure, so it literally is impenetrable.
No one can actually get anywhere near it.
And I suppose it also is one of them. 100 acres around it as well. If you did manage to get the gold, I highly doubt you're getting out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if somehow you just snuck in stuff like that and got the gold, you ain't getting out of there, are you?
I mean, it's a lot of land to get through to even get to the gates.
Yeah, and if you somehow manage to pull off this mission impossible, they'll never even notice it's gone. It's impossible to transport it out of there without being seen. You know what I mean? You may get in there by some miracle, but getting out there...
I'm sure they've got alarms and all that as well. So by the time you've got it, they're already coming up.
Yeah, it's game over. You have absolutely no chance. Which, again, is not surprising with that amount of gold in it. You politicians have
Being a politician has enough job-related perks, so it's probably a relief to know that Fort Knox is almost completely off-limits from our elected officials. When Kentucky Congressman Brett Guthrie and U.S. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin visited in August 2017, they noted that it was the first time visitors were invited to the facility since members of Congress inspected the gold in 1974. The place is so exclusive that even the U.S. Mint Police are handpicked and then trained extensively in weapons handling, movements, danger areas, cover management, contact and cover, 360-degree security, cornering, door entry, room clearing, and breaching. Even the leader of the free world doesn't get a peek. And the only president to ever step inside the vault was Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and only because he was president when the vault was first built.
That's mental. Not even the president.
Crazy.
The last audit of Fort Knox's gold was conducted in 1953 under the Eisenhower administration. No outside experts were allowed inside, and the audit only managed to test 5% of the gold for purity. There has been no subsequent audit of the vault, despite then-presidential candidate Ron Paul challenging this in 2008. His audit failure led to much speculation and conspiracy theories. Despite public scrutiny, the U.S. Mint remains mum on proof of the 147.3 million ounces of gold claimed to be inside the vault. And so all evidence of this vast amount of treasure almost completely rests on a small group of people assuring us that it exists. Technically speaking, the vault could be filled with old newspapers and Wendy's wrappers, and we'd never know.
That kind of reminds me of Money Heist.
Yeah.
The end. If you guys have seen Money Heist, I honestly recommend watching it. It is a dubbed English over, I think Spanish, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think
Spanish. So. But at the end, they kind of pretend the gold in the Spanish reserve is actually just bronze, I think it ended up being in. But just the confidence of people thinking it's gold and stuff like that, brought the stock market back and stuff like that. And people thought massive powerhouse, so much money, because they didn't know it wasn't gold.
No.
I suppose same thing there. No one's allowed in it. It could just be an empty room.
Inside.
Literally could just be an empty room, and nobody would know. And I think if it got out that it was an empty room, and suddenly all that fortune's wiped off, it's going to be a disaster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Who does it actually belong to?
Let us know in the comments.
Because if the president can't go inside, I thought like the president was kind of like the top person of the US. So who is in charge of it? Who controls?
I guess it's like the police, the high level police, like the FBI or something like that.
Are they above the president though?
Let us know in the comments. That is a very interesting question.
Because like the president obviously has all the like the nuclear, bombs and all that, all the codes for them. So why isn't he not like? And again, like who decides when that comes out?
Who was the person who invited the other politician? Somebody
must have said, "We're going to put all our gold in there," and who was that person? Because somebody decided.
No, that makes sense. Because when the president, the first president, when it was built, he was in it,
right? Okay.
And so that because that's when it was built. But like nowadays. Who is the person pulling the strings to be
somebody's saying you can't go in there?
To them two politicians, you can come in, you can be invited in or something like that now.
So who's in charge?
There must be one person in there who can go in whenever they want, and they make sure no one else goes in.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, yeah. Let us know in the comments. It'd be interesting to know. Again, I guess it's kind of just the US. Whoever owns it is the US owns it, if that makes sense. The whole country owns it, but there'll be one person in charge of making sure people don't go in or potentially allowing someone to go in, would be my guess. So it's not like somebody owns it, they're just in charge of it, I'd guess.
Yeah.
Kind of like the president isn't in charge, like he doesn't own America.
He's just in charge.
But in theory, he's calling the shots and he's in charge.
Yeah, which is why I thought like he'd be in charge of.
Before, let us know in the comments. I don't know the answer to that. Maybe you guys will.
It's
so
like
let
the
us
Queen
know.
is in charge of her crown jewels and all of that.
Yeah.
And I mean, but then I don't think she actually gets to say in politician stuff, does she?
I think she can interrupt potentially. I don't fully know that, to be honest. But I think she, if she really wanted to, could. But then it kind of gets rid of the whole voting process and stuff like that.
So maybe they have a similar sort of situation.
Yeah, let us know, because we're just making it up now, aren't we? Just guessing. So, like I've said for probably about 6 or 7 times now, let us know in the comments if you do know.
The strange lack of evidence surrounding Fort Knox has attracted conspiracy theorists like bad photographers around Bigfoot. The most straightforward of them is from the Gold Antitrust Action Committee, which believes that the gold either never existed or has been slowly sold off and replaced with painted tungsten bricks. Other, more creative theorists believe that the vault is secretly home to Jimmy Hoffa's body, biological weapons, or has been used to store drugs like morphine and opium. And of course, simply Googling the phrase Fort Knox Secret Aliens will open your world to a whole community of conspirators, including the story of an alien encounter right over the base.
Wow.
Called the Mantle Case, the alleged story begins in January 1948 when several soldiers spotted a bright white flying object from the control tower of the fort. 25-year-old Captain Thomas F. Mantle was sent to follow the craft in his F-51 Mustang fighter, only to crash in the pursuit. Before his death, the pilot allegedly described an object looking metallic and of tremendous size. We can't stop you from whatever you choose to believe about aliens, but as for all the theories on the actual gold in Fort Knox, well, that might be a bit moot. While it's fun to theorize and wonder over the value of Fort Knox, it should be noted that the U.S. actually went off the gold standard all the way back in 1971. This means that the U.S. dollar has no relation to the value of gold, making whatever is inside of Fort Knox a commodity for the Treasury Department and unrelated to our larger economy. In other words, the gold in Fort Knox is more valuable for trading with other countries, or as former Federal Reserve Chairperson Alan Greenspan put it exists just in case we need it. Or if the government was feeling extra generous, they could simply melt it all down and give everyone in America their very own Lord of the Rings memorabilia. That's assuming the aliens didn't take all the gold already. So what do you think? What is in Fort Knox? Let us know in the comments below. And
let us know what you guys think. Again, if you want to throw a conspiracy theory in there, we don't really believe in most of them. I kind of just take it as I just won't know. But it's always a good laugh to read some of them, isn't it? So if you've got any, let us know in the comments. What do you reckon?
I reckon there is gold in there.
You reckon there is gold in there?
I just want to know who it belongs to. Not who it belongs
who's calling
to.
The shots on
I get that it belongs to the US before everyone says that. But I just want to know who decides.
Who's the commanding officer of it?
Who says that the president can't go in there? Like, who's telling him that?
And then who invites the other journalist? And then who's the person who can go in there? Maybe no one knows. It's that secret. Some high up official, but nobody knows the name for the safety of it.
Yeah, but then is that fake then? No one knows.
Who knows? Let us know in the comments, guys. Let us know what else you want us to react to. We'd seriously appreciate that. If you've enjoyed this little fun video, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. We now know more about Fort Knox as well, which is awesome.
Yeah.
We've learned a bit, had a little bit of laugh with some conspiracy theories, and we still have the question: what is inside Fort Knox? Nobody knows. We got asked at the start, and who's in charge? That is the main question. Smash that like button, guys. Smash that subscribe button, and have a fantastic day. Peace.